Hi, welcome back. I'm Chris,
I'm Stacy.
and we are doing our second video review. It's been a little bit of time, but we've been very, very busy. And
Yes.
this time we are reviewing a newer film, a little bit newer, Resolution. So we
Yeah.
just finished seeing it about a few minutes ago.
Was it 2013?
2013. Yeah, sorry, we should have had a second computer here
I know.
for
Shit.
references.
Google on the phone.
Okay, so we neither of us seen this one before, unlike the last film.
Yeah.
We found out about it a couple days ago for myself.
Sorry, my patio light is flickering, so it's giving it some ambiance.
Ambiance.
Ambiance, is that the right word?
It's a great word.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Okay, so basic synopsis of the film. What did you? If you had to tell a story in a second, in 20 words or less.
Straight-laced dude goes to a cabin to help his buddy, who's a crackhead, uh, clean himself up cold turkey, and spooky supernatural shit happens.
Perfect synopsis. Perfect synopsis. And that's a basic story. It's basically, I think you compared it to which compared to
Evil
earlier?
Dead.
Evil Dead.
Well, the
Exactly.
remake of
Yeah,
Evil
the
Dead.
remake.
The whole
Isolation.
the whole purpose of them bringing that girl to the cabin. Yeah.
Clean her up. Um, basically it's a two character story, a two-hand story. Our straight guy and our guy who's a drag addict. The problem I had with the character development of these two characters is our drug addict wasn't
Chris
wasn't a drug addict enough.
Yeah, he was like, so he was supposed to be this hardcore junkie meth addict, and so we're expecting, like, a day or two into his like detoxing and withdrawal, like expected him
It's
to
meth,
be
by
like
the way. Yeah.
violently like ill, as you would expect, as they show on TV. And it wasn't. He was like cracking jokes the
He
entire
was
time.
very witty.
Yeah,
Very witty.
it's like he complained a lot about like hurting and itching, but he wasn't showing any actual physical pain. Like, you didn't believe it. But the thing about that is that I didn't mind so much, because his acting and his there's a kitty. His acting and his ADD, right? His acting and his like his I don't know his lines, like he was just a really good like comedic.
He was witty.
Like,
He was
yeah.
very witty. I enjoyed his part. I didn't buy him as a drug addict. He looked too healthy for that, and his detox, like he said, was not
Like,
really believable.
yeah, I would have bought it a lot more if he had, like, if it was just them two going to like hang out for a weekend and some crazy shit happened.
Yeah, like
You know what I mean?
more of an intervention,
Yeah,
more than an actual detox. It felt more like an intervention than a detox.
Yeah.
Where it's just confrontational. Because between Chris and his best friend Mike. Mike was the clean guy. The whole part was very confrontational, like
Yeah.
what like an intervention would be. But you don't get the whole feeling of it really being a detox and cleaning system.
Yeah.
You don't buy into it that much.
yeah. What was his name? The
It was
clean guy?
Chris was drug addict and Mike was his friend.
Okay,
trying to clean him
yeah.
up.
I'm not good with remembering names ever, so that's a thing. Um, they played really well off of each other. I thought they were great. Like, it was the casting was amazing. But
Good chemistry. I'm assuming they probably know each other or are friends or something, because the budget
was it being such
was
like an
not
indie flick?
huge at all.
What was it?
I don't know, but just by the way you look, by the location they use, it's basically a single location. It's a cabin and the woods around it. You know, very minimal lighting to it. Camera was very simple, not high end camera work or sound equipment. So it's a very low budget film, but it's usually it felt like something you would throw together with people you know or friends.
Exactly.
That kind of feel
Yeah.
to it.
But it worked, because most of the time when you see these ones where it's all buddies and stuff, and usually like, okay, sometimes chemistry that you have with your buddy won't translate on film, especially when it's a scripted thing. You know what I mean? It won't translate well. Like, these dudes did awesome. The script was really good. Like, I mean, the movie took. So here's some spoilers, of course. Sorry.
Oh yeah, forget spoilers
before we get into
because we
things.
get into everything. In the
Yes. Like, I already forgot what I was saying. Shit. We're gonna have to do another take of this shit.
We have one take.
Well, now it's
like you mentioned, I really liked the development of the character. The script was well written. Not the most poignant or heavy story possible.
Yeah.
But it flowed very naturally.
That's what I'm saying about that. Like, the whole, when they were kind of like, I guess like their vibing off each other was really good, and those parts where you just see them sitting there and talking for, like, I mean, 10
minutes at a
minutes,
time, minutes at a
and
time.
you're
Yeah.
just like, you would think that it would get really boring after a while, but it gives you enough time to listen to them and kind of formulate what could possibly happen, you know what I mean? All these different ideas in your head, but still like be able to pay
Yeah,
attention to
you
them.
don't get bored with them
Yeah.
talking to each other.
Yeah.
Because really, 85% of the movie is them sitting in one room with one guy tanked up against the wall and one guy pacing around him, just talking.
Yeah.
And that's rare, especially for this kind of genre. Where it's, I mean, it's great that it's an art film, I think, more than it is a horror film.
Yeah.
But it does have that supernatural aspect to it. But it doesn't get boring because it's very easy to invest in them because they feel so natural.
Yeah. Well, I'll disagree on the boring. It's a little boring in parts, and this is where I'm going to go into my griefs with it. You know what I mean?
I have griefs too.
That it it took a long time to really get to like the whole like climax. You know what I mean? It was the climax, and boom, like that was it. And it kind of like it built up the whole time, and then it kind of just went like it went down like a roller coaster, but very very slow though. And you were like, oh, this fucking is weird.
That was actually my grief with the film too, that it does build up, but it builds up slowly, but it doesn't. Every build up that the basically what happens is Mike, the one that's chained his friend up, he leaves the cabin to let Chris sleep or get off the drug, and goes exploring around the wooded area where he's at, and he runs into every single type of character.
It just took too much time of him finding this. Like, ooh, I found this. Ooh, I found this. Ooh, I found this. Ooh, I found this. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Just quit finding shit. Let's get to.
And it doesn't really pay off that much.
Exactly.
There was a couple of really good payoffs I liked. I think that the VHS tape where it showed him tasing his friend, where of course couldn't have been filmed anywhere, and the video of them having happening in real time, like them talking, was good. They were good payoffs, but there was so much other little payoffs or other little things that he discovers, and it did get boring, and it's not surprising anymore. You kind of lose the tone. You lose a lot of suspense.
Yeah, the first time he finds a couple things, you're like, ooh,
interesting.
What is that? And then by like the fifth fucking thing, you're like, okay, dude, I get it. Like,
it's all a big change, and that does get.
And then the payoff wasn't that great.
Yeah, I was not. I mean, what I gathered, what they were trying to put out, they gave the whole monologue with the French guy that Mike finds out in the woods, about him basically saying that if you're someone who doesn't understand what's something you see, whether it be an alien,
you make up your own story of what it is, and that's pretty much what the ending did. Is it basically lets you make up your own story of what it could possibly be. Yeah. And that's what I liked about it, is it didn't show any monster, it didn't show a fucking ghost, a demon, an alien. You literally, it could be any of those things.
It was definitely something. Yes. It wasn't ambiguous that it was nothing not there.
And you don't know if it's quite malevolent. I mean, it's bad, but it's,
I definitely got a benevolent vibe off it, because at the very end, when they're facing whatever it is, and the camera shows them.
Not to say that it's not completely like. I'm just saying, like, it's. I don't know. I don't know.
I definitely got the vibe that it was benevolent, because one guy breaks down, and can't face. The other guy is terrified of what he's seeing, and it's trying to say, it's almost like he's begging it to give him another chance before the movie ends. And you hear, a roar of some kind, which, generally in film terms is going to be something that's not happy to be around you, or you're happy to be around it. So that was definitely an evil vibe off it.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that is going to be what makes the film fall flat. Yes. That it's such a slow build-up, and it doesn't get more tense as like a haunted house in the 1958 or 64, whichever what it was, the original, The Haunting.
63.
63. Slow build-up, but you don't lose the tension. It just keeps building and building and building and building until the very end. This one, it builds, but every time something happens, the tension's gone again.
Yeah.
And it never gets off the ground. It never really gets. You never get suspense really.
Yeah.
For the last couple of minutes, but even then, there's so much monologue.
The main actor, what was his name again? Mike.
Mike. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Mike. He didn't really play, being the guy that was the one that was mostly moving around in the entire story, not being chained to a fucking wall, was kind of like, his reactions weren't what I would think somebody would be
He was not terrified at all of very strange things happening.
I found this shit. Oh, I found this. I'm like,
the second I find a VHS tape of myself in the woods of me
dying
doing something that no one could have possibly seen or been around,
or
I would have
hasn't
been
happened
freaked out.
yet.
I would have
Yeah,
left
yeah, yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
So yeah, his reaction is not great to the things that should have shocked a normal person in this
Yeah.
situation. Should have
Chris
terrified
was
someone.
amazing. He was great.
He was
He
great
was a great
as a
actor. He was
character,
hilarious.
not
We were cracking up the whole
not great as a
time.
drug addict,
No, not a great drug
but a
addict. It's like
great
maybe
character.
he's like the cool guy that you see in like the rom-coms that is like the shitty funny friend that fucks everything up all the time, but he's really funny
he's the
and he's
shitty
like
funny
lovable even though he's a dumbass. Like
very, very charming portrayal.
Yeah.
Great portrayal.
Yeah.
I just think that it was a bad
I'd
setup.
watch him in another movie. I wouldn't watch Mike in another movie.
Mike was kind of flat, but
Yeah.
but he played off Chris so well that
But that's when you
forgave
go.
him for
But
it.
that's when you go with such a great script. Then it's obviously your acting that's not good.
Yeah, it
You
wasn't
can't blame the
fantastic.
script on this one, buddy.
Wasn't
Like,
fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think a good gem in Chris in this one, and that he's got some solid feature. I think
Yeah.
he keeps it up. And whoever wrote it, good job.
Yeah. To sum it up, I would give it
On a 1 to 10, 0 to 10,
a 1 out of a 10. I would give it a 5.5.
5.5. Normally, I like this kind of film. I like something that is a little off the edge, that makes you think a little more, that has a not so predictable ending to
Yeah.
it. Although towards the end you kind of figure, okay, well, it's something they can do with it. But yeah, because the pacing was so dull and it fell so many times, I wouldn't go more higher than 5.5 either.
Yeah. Now, would I recommend you renting this, watching it, buying it, whatever? I would. I would absolutely recommend it. One-time watch.
Yeah, it's definitely a different recommendation.
It's not.
I wouldn't recommend you buy it.
No. It's not
It's a
worth
rental.
a two-time watch because like you're not left with like some questions that you're like, I need to watch this again. You're just like, oh, I'm left with questions that are like just not ever going to get answered because there's nothing
all
you
the questions
missed.
are interpretation. There's
Yeah.
there's not a lot of real subtlety.
There's nothing you go, maybe I missed something.
Yeah, it's not a rewatch.
Yeah.
It's definitely a one-time viewing. But yeah, it's all in all not a bad, well-made film, well-written film.
Great for an indie film.
Yeah, great for an indie film. I think if they would have changed the backstory a little bit, or the situation, the characters, it would have been a fantastic film.
Yeah.
I think so. But right now, because of the pacing and the payoff is so poor in the end, I'll give it a 5.5.
Yeah.
Like I said. Well, that's our second
That
review.
is it.
The film was called Resolution. 2013. Got a little bit of buzz when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I think you guys should at least give it a one-time watch and see if you like it.
And don't forget to go and check us out at toavoidfainting.blogspot.com and our Twitters.
Wicked Chris, WICKD CHRIS at twitter.com.
And mine is no longer Pope Bonerface. It is now the
End
Stacey
of an
Beth,
era.
STACEYBETH. So follow us on there if you have any critiques or anything you'd want to see
Give
out of
us
any
feedback.
movie, anything. Yes, feedback is definitely welcome, but like don't be a dick because that would
Be
be
a dick,
awesome.
it's fun.
So, yeah, awesome.
Thanks for seeing us, guys.
Thanks.